All right, just a little background on myself. My name is Stan Chase. I am the CEO of NvYA Technology. We're an IT services company that services small to medium-sized businesses in the Oklahoma City area and Oklahoma in general. I also have a background in IT companies. This is my third one that I've started. The other two ended up in acquisitions. So I've been in the IT service business for the past 30 years.
My name is Daniel France. I'm the CEO of ittybam, which is a software consulting company, and the founder of Activos, which is a communication platform that services the Oklahoma DHS. So Activos is at its essence, it's a communication platform tool that allows us to distribute important information to the masses. In its current iteration, it services Oklahoma Department of Human Services to help facilitate child welfare specialists getting in contact with foster families. Right now it takes about 2 to 5 days to place a child in foster care, but with our system and once it's in place, we hope to reduce that to about 2 to 5 hours. Just because we're going to be able to distribute the information quicker and the important information more quickly to multiple foster families, and then also receive essentially a warm lead when it comes to individuals that are able to help in that specific situation.
Well, the main reason that I became involved in this program is because I have, as I previously stated, have been involved in starting up 3 different IT companies. It's a very arduous process to do, and trying to learn all the ins and outs of how to get a business off the ground, how to get started, how to network, how to get plugged into the community is a very, very hard task if you don't know anyone. And having those connections, having that network is what really enthralled me to get involved with this program, because I want to give those opportunities to new entrepreneurs to help their road to success be a little easier to follow.
The reason that I wanted to join the mentorship program was I recognize that some of my failings are my lack of networking, and also I just didn't have anybody in this town that I could bounce ideas off of, that I could really ask questions to someone that's done it in the past. So when I was presented with the opportunity to join the program with people that have succeeded, I jumped at that opportunity.
Well, when I first met Daniel and learned about Activos, the first thing I liked was he had already defined the product. He'd already defined a target customer, who to go after. That's very important when you're starting. And then it was also already in play to a certain extent, which makes it easier, because as you're building a company and starting a new product, you got to have somebody that is willing to use it. And he had already discovered that. So that process was already done. And where I saw things were getting focused, getting into the right networks, finding the right financing if that was necessary, those sorts of things, and just help Daniel direct himself into where he wants to go with Activos, and getting a better understanding of the roadmap that he wants to follow, and then help keep him on that roadmap, because that is the hardest part. There's a million rabbits out there and we chase them all. So just trying to get him focused on the king rabbit and which one to go after.
Stan and the rest of the team, they've helped me. They've really kind of put a little bug in my ear about focusing. I think I had even brought up that the last 2 years I have been in chasing rabbits. I've allowed people to steer me off course, and focus on things that really weren't doing us any good. So that right there is probably the utmost of importance to all entrepreneurs, is staying focused, because we only have so much resources. I mean, we only have so many individuals on our team, and we only have so much runway financially, and so we have to be very focused. And so that's been a huge help. And also just some mornings to be able to call and go and sit down and have a cup of coffee and say, hey, let's just bounce some ideas off of each other. And that's just been tremendous help, to just be able to know that I'm communicating with someone that has done this in the past, not just like a coach.
I've been involved with some of the other entrepreneurial programs. They're all great in nature. They're all great at what they're attempting to try to do. One of the things that I see in the Oklahoma City area is we need to bring all those disparate organizations together. Doesn't mean you lose your identity, but it gets them together to get a more focus and a better platform to do this entrepreneurial stuff, because as Daniel talked about, you only have so many resources and they're going to run thin. And you got to figure out how to utilize and maximize and gain efficiency with those as best you can. The other part is, he was talking about having coffee to bounce ideas. The other thing that I've experienced in my career is I want a place to go sit down. Misery loves company, all right? And when you're struggling, when you're trying to figure this out, I always call it the spin factor. You're spinning, you're going nuts, you're trying to figure out which way to go. Just sitting down with someone to give some rational, kind of third-party experiences to say, hey, we've all been through this, it's okay.
Yeah. We initially met during the pilot program for the OChemp program, and that was about a year ago. And we kind of just hit it off, and we've just been meeting for coffee and chatting and just really getting to know each other to see if it's a good fit. And we've been doing that about quarterly. And then last month, the month of June, we had our first official OChemp meeting. And that was with a couple other individuals. And so we're really just kind of getting started. We've got a meeting next week. And I think what my hope is that we kind of start to really delve into more like specific problems that I'm having in the industry.
Yeah, and I'll pile onto that. As Daniel mentioned, we started meeting about a year ago after the initial pilot of this. I found it very intriguing that there was a format and an agenda to follow. Now, I didn't know where it was going to go, didn't know if it would go anywhere. We all sat in a room and learned about the MIT mentoring program, found it fascinating, and then as with everything, you wonder if it's ever going to take off and where it's going to go. So instead of waiting, Daniel and I just started getting together, getting to know each other, learning more about what he was trying to do with Activos and trying to figure out how I could even help then. With that being said, now that we've met once, we got that initial meeting over with I think we had 7, 8 people in that meeting. Now we'll start defining and refining what we're working on to help him move this further down the path faster and quicker. From my perspective, the next steps that are going to happen, one of the things that challenged me with the question of how long does this go? What's the next steps? I'm one of these people. Daniel's a friend of mine now, so I'm in it until he says I don't need your help anymore, or see you later, I'm out, whatever the case, or I've made this extremely successful, which is what we're all hoping for, and it's run its course. I don't plan on leaving, even if OChemp stopped doing the program. I like to mentor and help young people because I want him to be successful, because I just read an article this morning, Wallet Hub ranks Oklahoma City as the number 5 best city for startups. Let's get this to number 1. Let's get this to where we need it to be, because I read all these stories about Boston and Austin and Silicon Valley and Boulder and all this. Hey, we can do it here in Oklahoma City. So I'm in it for the long haul. I don't know how long it will take.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I'm involved in a number of other startup groups. There's Oklahoma City Startup, there's the Thunder Launchpad, there's OChemp, there's a number of things. It is a great time to be an entrepreneur in Oklahoma City, I will say that. It's not as organized as it needs to be. We're all working on that, we all strive for that. But with that being said, it's starting, which is just a huge thing for me, because for the past 30 years, as I've talked about, I've started my own business. There was nothing like this available for entrepreneurs. You just had to go find people. You had to go hope somebody would coach you, teach you how to drive the train so you didn't drive it off the cliff. And there's a number of times we got right to the edge. And it's a scary, scary proposition to not have that support group around you. So there's a number of support groups. OChemp is one that I really find a great deal of favor in because of the agenda and the routines that you have to go through to help keep people on track. But one of the things we need to do in this community is get these together, working together. As I said earlier, you can keep your identity, you just have to start working together, because we can create such a culture that people will want to come to Oklahoma, which is something that I wish for, because I'm not a native as well, but I'm an Oklahoman now. And I love it here. It's a great city, it's a great place, low cost of living, great people. It's just the ideal place to go to start a business.
Yeah, I mean, some of the things that I think are really great about Oklahoma City as far as an entrepreneur and specifically in the tech industry is cost of living here is pretty great. I've lived in San Francisco, I've worked in San Francisco, and obviously it's pretty pretty intense there as far as the living situation goes. And so to be able to bring the same kind of caliber talent here with the cost of living of Oklahoma, it has a huge upswing. You know, as Stan mentioned, it's kind of the Wild West here, and so we get an opportunity to set the stage the way that we want to. And I think that that's one of our goals. When I say ours, I mean for my company, from Activos, and our team, is we'd really like to build the machine the way that we want it built. And that's a huge opportunity to get in on a ground floor of a city like this that's changing. You know, we talk about what the city was like 5 years ago. You know, what was it like last year? You know, this curve is speeding up, and we're seeing changes happening more rapidly. And so, technology is about reinventing. It's about it's about being innovative. It's about being creative. And so, looking at Oklahoma City as a blank canvas, I think that in and of itself is a pretty great opportunity to choose Oklahoma City as a spot to build a new company.
Come create with us. Don't be a follower. Come create with us. We don't have this, it's not already formulated, it's not already done a certain way. I've been involved in these other entrepreneurial startups in other cities, and here's how they do it. Come create with us. We're figuring it out. It is the Wild West. It is a blank canvas. And for me, and I think for most entrepreneurs, that's what they want. They want to create. They don't want to follow. They want to be different. So come be different with us. It's a great experience, and there's a lot happening.